Hello everyone, welcome to our technologies. So today we are going to learn something about useEffect. So in this video we'll talk about different types of useEffect that we can use in React, or different ways that we can use useEffect in the React application. So this video is especially for the beginners, who are just getting started with the React, or maybe for some junior developers who are working with React for a while, but they especially don't know what's going on in the React. So for them, this video is for them, and we'll learn about how we can use a different scenario that we can use the useEffect, something like that. So without delay, let's get started with the code. I have some code over here and a UI in here. I have two separate counters. They are independent of each other and works on their own. So we can see over here, and I have a console open in my browser. And I have a code over here. I have two states, counter 1, counter 2, and I have two functions to manipulate the counters. So counter 1, if it's increment, then counter +1. If not, then counter -1. Same for the counter 2. And we have here the UIs, and the UIs are supported by the Bootstrap. So I have used the Bootstrap in here, and we have our UIs here. So let's start with the useEffect. So the first thing that you need is importing the useEffect first. And to use the useEffect, it will be useEffect. useEffect will take a callback function, so that would be a callback function over here. So it works only with this, and this is a function. You can write whatever you want. So let's see how does this work. So I have this thing, so I'll write a console log. I am from counter 1. I'll copy this and paste over here. It will be counter 2, and whenever you hover in this useEffect, you can see that it takes a dependency array. It's a dependency list, but it's optional, but let's provide one. So it's dependency. So as a dependency right now, I'll give our counter 1 as a dependency for now, and this will be our useEffect 2. And I'll have another one that would be without any dependency array, and this will be our counter 3. Let's save this, and if I go to my console, and it's running once, because useEffect will run once no matter what, to be clear. So if you want something to write inside or something to work inside the useEffect, then keep in mind that useEffect will run once no matter what. So, and if you see that these things are printing twice, and that is because if you go to index.js, I guess it will be probably due to the strict mode. So if I turn that to strict mode and refresh this, then it will print twice. This is new feature in React 18, I guess, but for now let's make it fragment, and it will work just as fine. So I have my useEffects over there, and we have three types of useEffect. So let's go one by one into every useEffect, and let's know something about that. So I'll comment this out for now. I'll save this. I'll go over here and refresh this. It's printing once because useEffect will run at least once. So what happens in this type of useEffect is that when you don't provide a dependency array, whenever something changes in your application, let's say I have a counter 1. If I press the +1, that would trigger this thing, and it's an increment, so it will increase the counter, and our counter 1 will be changed to 1 from 0. So doing this, our counter 1 has been changed, that is, the state has been changed, and whenever the state is changed, the useEffect will run again. So this is for all the states. So if I change something in here, then it will run again. We have two over here. If I press this one, it's run again, and if I press this one, then it will run again. So in this type of useEffect, this useEffect will run again and again if there is something changed. The state is changed, whichever state, no matter what, but if the state is changed, then this useEffect will run. So this is the first useEffect that we have. Let's comment this out and uncomment this one. Let's save this. I'll go over here, refresh this application. So I am from the counter 2 because it will run at least 1. So in here I have counter 1 as a dependency array, and in the counter 1 in the dependency list. So if I press +1 from the counter 2, nothing will happen, but if I press +1 from the counter 1, it will print again. That is because we have put this counter 1 is a dependency inside the useEffect. So whenever this counter 1 changes, this thing will run again. The useEffect, the function will run again. So to check that, or to find that, let's change our counter 1 to counter 2. Go over here, refresh this. So in here, if I change the counter 1 now, it won't work. So it won't work, but if I change the counter 2, it will work. So it's working fine. So not only one, but you can provide multiple counters. So let's say I can provide counter 1 and counter 2 at the same time. I'll refresh this. So I'll plus, it's working, minus, it's working. So you can provide as many as dependency into this list. So if any one of those changes, then this will run again. So that is our second one. And in the final one, we have, let's save this and go over here. We have counter 3, and in here, so what happens is we provided the dependency list, an array, but this is empty. So whenever we provide the dependency array, it thinks that it has to check with that within that dependency. So it won't check with the states. Now it will check with the dependency array, but we are providing empty dependency array, so we don't have any values to compare, to change, to check if it changes or not. So whenever I refresh it, it will run once, but if I change anything in our state, it won't run again because it don't have any dependency in it. So these are the three types of useEffect that you want a lot, that you'll use a lot according to the scenario situation. But the lot, this thing, the third one, you will use it a lot more than other. So because whenever you want to run something at the start of the application and never again, then for that scenario you'll use this. And if you want to run some function first at the while rendering the application, and every time when some value changes, then you can use this thing. And if you want to run something whenever every state changes in the application, every one of those state changes, then you can use this effect. So I think this video is very much helpful for you guys, and this is the basic thing. There are a lot of things that you need to consider. A useEffect is a very tricky hook, and right now we're providing the counter 2 as in here, but there are a lot of things about the JavaScript that we don't know. There are some references that it check with the references and with the values. So we have the array object thing in the dependency array. So how does that work? So that will be covered in the upcoming videos, but for now this will be enough for you guys to get started with the React and learn something, create a foundation. And I think that is all for this video. Please like, share and subscribe, and continue watching. Thank you.